Let me just start this off by saying, in no way am I expecting Canelo Alvarez to lose to John Ryder. Like, I have no doubt in my mind that this dude we call Cinnamon will dominate that man. But I'd be lying if I said upsets don't cross my mind from time to time and haven't crossed my mind for this bout. Because the truth is, man, you never know in boxing. So for entertainment purposes only, and since I just want to cover one of boxing's biggest stars, I'm definitely gonna entertain this shit. Listen, I feel like because everyone is so focused on Canelo facing Dimitri Bivol or David Benavidez, we all just assume he's gonna walk through John Ryder, which the majority of us agree that he will. I mean, it's insulting for me myself to even consider anything else happening. I'm not gonna sit here and act like I follow John Ryder's career, because up until this point, I really had no clue who the guy was, and if I did, I sure can't remember, honestly speaking. That's no disrespect to John Ryder as a fighter though, because from what I've seen, he's, as Floyd Money Mayweather would say, a tough competitor. He's a tough motherfucker. Dude is a real one. A veteran with a record of 32 wins and 5 losses. The guy can fucking fight. Is very sharp with his combinations and has enough power to keep most dudes honest. But I can just see that he's easily open to being countered by Canelo due to his aggressive style and lack of defense. Like, Ryder just has that little bull rush head digging into your chest style that Kirkland had, and everyone knows how that one ended. Also, if you look at 3 of his 5 losses, those came at the hands of guys Canelo already beat: Rocky Fielding, Caleb Smith, and Billy Joe Saunders. Now, some would say that Ryder beat Caleb Smith, but that's neither here nor there. We've seen how easily Canelo handled the 3 of them, but Ryder actually has a more recent win over another common opponent Canelo has also beaten in Daniel Jacobs. So even though this fight doesn't give us the big fight atmosphere, that's okay, because Ryder is Canelo's mandatory. He's a slightly bigger man, but they're very similar in structure to the point where some fans are even calling Ryder the wish version of Canelo. Realistically, I can see this fight actually ending anywhere between 5 and 8 rounds. Basically the halfway mark. But now if it does go the distance, or even into the championship rounds, I'm just wondering what kind of fight that actually would be. Because you already know this fight is taking place in Mexico, so that means Canelo will be there to put on a show in front of all his people. Y todo el mundo velando esta pelea. Also, since Canelo is coming off of a loss against Dimitri Bivol, we might as well just label Ryder a dead man right now. You know, it's like ambulance finna come get him. But because there's always a but, I always like to keep it fair, since we've seen these upsets in the past when top guys get too comfortable or when judges want to overplay their hands. And we also know about the once in a blue moon hometown jinx. When Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua, everything in me told me that was going to be an upset. I knew it. When Kambosos beat Teofimo Lopez, I was on Instagram going back and forth with fans about how he was going to upset Lopez. And when Dimitri Bivol defeated Canelo, I didn't feel it, but I just knew he was going to beat Canelo. I feel like most people just overlooked how much of an underdog Canelo really was in the build-up. It was just something about it being Canelo and the amazing undisputed run that just didn't want to leave me count Canelo out, when everything in me knew he was going to lose that fight. And I regret it so bad not coming on here to share that prediction with fans. Dumbest fucking shit ever. That's not the case here with Ryder though. This is more like a what-if scenario, if you know what I mean. Hypothetically speaking, if this fight ends up like other certain situations in boxing history, let's say like when Roy Jones ran the light heavyweight division and came across Antonio Tarver. Remember Roy's following fight with Glenn Johnson when he was knocked the fuck out and awake at the same time? Yeah. Roy was never the same after those 2 back-to-back losses, and Roy was untouchable not too long before that. I mean, nobody could touch Roy. And the Andy Ruizes and the infamous Buster Douglases of boxing headlines, not to mention the Hakeem Rockman surprise. The rare form Ferdinand Forrests and Sergio Martinez's, and dare do I even say, the Jeff Horns of the world. We all know Canelo can be beaten due to his losses to Floyd, Bivol, and some will arguably say Triple G and Erislandy Lara. But let's face it, man, he's the reigning face of boxing. Whether you believe Gervonta Tank Davis is the next guy in line or already the guy, Canelo is a genetic freak of nature. We know he can show off in the ring. We know he can put you to sleep like NyQuil. I mean, this Star-Lord looking motherfucker has the build of Wolverine, but looks like he can play Cyclops in the next X-Men movie. Not just cameos in Creed, the dude looks like a movie star. And the one thing I don't think most realize about his in-ring skills is, you don't just beat 3 different versions of Triple G in 3 different ways, even if you think he lost 2 of those fights. Not every fighter is that versatile in those type of wars. So that alone shows you the range he has as a boxer. People like to knock him for the fights he hasn't given us, you know, the fights we really want to see. But who really does or has nowadays outside of Tank and Ryan or Haney and Loma? Canelo is still one of, if not the top guy pound for pound in boxing. We know that. Just like we already know what a win for John Ryder would do for him in his career. But my question is, man, what would back-to-back losses mean for Canelo Alvarez? Like, what would he do in the event that actually does happen? And would people start questioning if he doesn't really got it anymore? Does he run it back with Ryder? Would he still follow through with the Bivol rematch? Would he contemplate retirement? I mean, even if he starches John Ryder like he's definitely supposed to do, does he retire after a rematch with Bivol? Especially a win over Bivol? Because that would not only add to his legacy or accolades, but really, what more would Canelo have to prove to the sport? I mean, yeah, there's still Benavidez, Andrade, Charlo, but Canelo is at the point in his career right now where he can do what he wants. And I know we can't always move that far ahead, but it's just something to think about. You know, love him or hate him, he's the man. And he's back this Saturday, May 6th in Guadalajara, Mexico. So let's just wait and see what other chapter this Canelo Alvarez story has to it. Pop off.